glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tiravanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राज जगाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस श्री भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राज आचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर श्री प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपिनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की नवदीप मायापुर धाम की गंगा मैया जमुना मैया की समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Gaur Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So we are reading from the Canto 3, Chapter 4, Chapter 5, entitled Vidura's Talk with Maitreya. And we are having today the first shloka. We are starting the Chapter 5. So text 1. Shri Shuka Uvacha Dvaridhyunadaya Rishabha Kuruna Dvaridhyunadaya Rishabha Kuruna Maitreyamasinamagadabodham Maitreyam asinam agadabodham Shattopashratyachyutabhava siddha Shattopashratyachyutabhava siddha Prapachya Saushilya Gunabhitrupta प्रपच्य सौशील्य गुणाभितृप्ता श्रीशुक उवाच द्वारीद्युनदया ऋषभा कुरूना मैत्रेयमासीनमगाधबोधम् शत्तोपश्रुत्याच्युतभावसिद्ध प्रपच्य सौशील्यगुणाभितृप्त श्रीशुक उवाच हरिद्युनद्या ऋषभा कुरूना मैत्रेयमासीनमगाधबोधम् शत्तोपश्रुत्याच्युतभावसिद्ध प्रपच्य सौशील्यगुणाभितृप्ता श्रीशुक उवाच द्वारी विनद्या ऋषभा कुरूना मैत्रेयमासीनमगाधबोधम् शत्तोपश्रुत्याच्युतभावसिद्धा प्रपच्य सौशील्यगुणाभितृप्ता। माताजी श्रीशुक उवाच द्वारीद्युनद्या ऋषभा कुरूना मैत्रेयमासीनमगाधबोधम् शत्तोपश्रुत्याच्युतभावसिद्धा कौशल्यगुणाभितृप्ता श्रीशुक उवाच द्वारीद्युनद्या ऋषभा कुरूना मैत्रेयमासीनमगाधबोधम् शत्तोपश्रुत्याच्युतभावसिद्ध्या प्रपच्य सौशील्यगुणाभितृप्ता. So word to word. Shishuka Uvacha. Shukdev Goswami said, Dwari, at the source of Dew Nadya, the celestial river Ganges, Rishabha, the best of Kurus, Kurunam, of the Kurus, Maitreyam, unto Maitreya, Asinam, sitting, Agadabodham, of unfathomed knowledge, Kshatta, Vidura, Upashritya, having approached nearer, Achyuta, the infallible Lord, Bhava, character, Siddha, perfect, Prapacha, inquired, Saushilya, gentleness, Gunabhitripta, satisfied in a transcendental qualities. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Shukdev Goswami said, Vidura, the best among the Kuru dynasty, who was perfect in a devotional service to the Lord, thus reached the source of celestial Ganges river, Haridwar, where Maitreya, the great, fathomless, learned sage of the world, was seated. Vidura was perfect in gentleness and satisfied in a transcendence inquired from him. Purport. Vidura was already perfect due to his unalloyed devotion to the infallible Lord. The Lord and the living entities are all qualitatively the same by nature, but the Lord is qualitatively much greater than any individual living entity. He is never infallible, whereas the living entities are prone to fall under the illusory energy. Vidura had already surpassed the fallible nature of the living entity in a conditioned life due to his being Achyuta Bhava or legitimately absorbed in a devotional service of the Lord. This stage of life is called Achyuta Bhava Siddha or perfection by dint of devotional service. Anyone, therefore, who is absorbed in the devotional service of the Lord is liberated soul and has all admirable qualities. The learned sage Maitreya was sitting in a solitary place on the bank of Ganges at Haridwar, and Vidura, who was a perfect devotee of the Lord and possessed all good transcendental qualities, approached him for inquiry. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Kalpa Kadamayam Tadati Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vidamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Pri Vancha Kalpa Taru Brasha Krupa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, Hare Krishna. So, this is a third canto fifth chapter. We are starting the fifth chapter where Vidurji is approaching Maitreya. And from here, that samvad of Vidur and Maitreya starts. So Srimad Bhagavatam is like a nested conversation. Nested conversation in the sense, initially Sutta Goswami is speaking to the sages of Naimisharanya, and he's speaking about what Parikshit Maharaj was told, or what the conversation happened between Shukadev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. And then the conversation proceeds to the second canto where Brahmaji is speaking to Narada and Brahmaji is offering to the prayers. So at the end of second canto, the sages of Naimisharanya, they ask question to the Sutta Goswami, because he had mentioned in the first canto, 13th chapter, that there was a conversation, there was a meeting between a Vidura and Maitreya. So what was that conversation about? Please elaborate. And now, Sutta Goswami elaborates upon that conversation, which was spoken by Shukadev Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj also. So, as the third canto starts, so there is a background for why was this conversation happened. So there was a background like why Vidura actually left Hastinapur. Vidura left Hastinapur because he was advising to Dhritarashtra, and Duryodhana insulted him, and that's why Vidura, he actually left and he started for the pilgrimage. So Viduraji actually got a break because he was dealing with that material energy, he was dealing with Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana. So he got a break to go on the pilgrimage, to see the different holy places, to take the darshan, to take the holy deeps. So he went on. On the way, he meets Uddhava, and then he asked Uddhava, how is the things? He inquires about the welfare of Vrishnis, Yadus, and Pandavas. As he asks, Uddhava actually goes gets lost into remembrance. He goes into the ecstasy, and he doesn't come out for the 48 minutes. And Vidurji is silently just waiting. And then he narrates the pastimes of Lord Shri Krishna from his birth till he disappears. So Uddhava, actually that time he came to know, when he came to know actually that Lord Shri Krishna is going to disappear, that time he requested to Lord Shri Krishna, please take me along with you. Lord Shri Krishna, trying to pacify him, then he spoke Uddhav Gita, which comes into the 11th canto. And that's the time Maitreya also comes and he hears from Lord Shri Krishna what is being spoken to Uddhava. So then Lord asks Uddhava to go to the Badrikashram, and that on the way Vidurji meets Uddhava. So Vidurji asks Uddhava to please elaborate upon what Lord Shri Krishna spoke to you, what knowledge Lord has given to you. Uddhavaji says, so in one sense, Vidurji is asking, please become my guru, but Uddhava says it's a Maryada Vritikram, because you are like my uncle, you are like my father. So please you go to the Maitreya who is at a Haridwar and you hear from him. And that's how Vidurji is now coming to the Haridwar and meeting Maitreya. So Maitreya Muni, and there is a talk. This samvad is going to be elaborated further in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So this verse is very interesting, where so many wonderful qualities of Vidurji is also described. It talks about Rishabha Kurunam. So it means he is the best of the Kuru dynasty. He is Vidurji. He says, Achyuta Bhava Siddha. Achyuta Bhava, in the sense, Prabhupada elaborates, somebody who has a devotional attitude towards Lord Achyuta and who has perfected that science of devotional service, he is called a Achyuta Bhava Siddha. Siddha is a perfection, who has achieved that perfection towards the bhava, towards the Lord Achyuta. He is a Achyuta Bhava Siddha. He is so much absorbed into the devotional service. He is a perfected soul. And Prabhupada used this terminology, perfect. Vidurji is perfect, the perfected soul. Further says, this verse talks about Saushilya, that is a gentleness. Vidurji is very gentle. And Gunabhitripta, satisfied in a transcendence. And he is inquiring. Prithya, he is inquiring. Whereas about Maitreya Muni is talked about is the Agada Bodham, that means unfathomed knowledge. Because he heard directly from Lord Shri Krishna, and that's why he has that unfathomed knowledge. So this is a very wonderful combination of a speaker and a hearer. This conversation is a perfect, because there's a two perfected personalities are conversing and conversing about Lord Achyuta. So Prithya is inquiring, Vidurji is inquiring. He is perfect, Vidurji is perfect, and his inquiries are also perfect. Why? Why perfect? The inquiries are perfect because it is all about Lord Shri Krishna, his pastimes, his qualities, and so on and so forth. And that's why this conversation is also perfect. So Vidurji, so many qualities has been described. Vidurji is a very special devotee. Why Vidurji is a special devotee? Because even when Lord Shri Krishna, before leaving this planet, he remembered Vidurji. That's how we can understand how great is Vidur. So now the question arises, of all, why did Lord Shri Krishna remember Vidurji? Because if we understand the biography of Vidurji, he was always being protective to the Pandavas. And Pandavas, he was always serving to the Pandavas. And Pandavas are very dear to Krishna. Narad Muni tells to the Yudhishthira Maharaj that you Pandavas are so great that Lord Shri Krishna, he stays in your house, he becomes your messenger, he actually never want to leave you, never want to leave your house, he's always there for you. That's how great you Pandavas are. Lord is so much attached to you. And when somebody, so that's how the Pandavas are special, so special. And when somebody serves such a special devotees, he also becomes special. And that's why Vidurji, who was always serving, who was always well-wishing for Pandavas, who always rescued them, who rescued them from the Lakshagraha, from that burning house, right? He always helped Pandavas, and that's why Pandavas are dear to Krishna, and that's why Vidurji becomes dear to Lord Shri Krishna. And that's why he's a special devotee. So therefore, we understand, advancement in devotional service is not about how much we know, but whom do we know, whom do we connect, whom do we serve. That's how the advancement in devotional service is. So when somebody starts serving such a special devotees, somebody starts inquiring to them and elevate their life, so then Lord Shri Krishna will also intervene in their life, right? In so many wonderful ways, which one cannot imagine also. So for them, the advancement is for sure. They will also become very dear to Krishna. So what we need to do is just hold upon such a wonderful devotees and serve them, serve faithfully, inquire to them. Here Vidurji is also inquiring to the great Maitreya Muni, right? Who is a Agada Bodham, who heard directly from Krishna. So this is like a Tadviti Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya. Vidurji is traveling, what Uddhava told, he is traveling to meet Maitreya Muni at the Haridwar. So, in the third canto at the starting, there's one verse which comes as a, it says, Vidurji is a special devotee. It says that, what else is there to say about the residential house of Pandavas? Shri Krishna, the Lord of everything, acted as your minister. He used to enter the house as if it were its own, and he did not take any care of Duryodhana's house. That says, Krishna was considering the Pandavas and Vidu's house as his own, then if Lord Shri Krishna has come to the house, why do Vidurji has to leave that house? You know, Lord Shri Krishna was also looking forward for it. Why do Vidurji has to leave? Vidurji left that house because he was eagerly awaiting to hear from the pure devotees. So we see, even in Srila Prabhupada's life, when Srila Prabhupada was in Vrindavan, in the yatra organized by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that time there was an opportunity to go to the Sheshashai temple close by, but Prabhupada chose to stay back and wanted to hear from Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So Vidurji desired to hear from the pure devotees. And this happened at the Haridwar. Recently, we concluded our Ayavais Yatra at Haridwar and Rishikesh. So Haridwar is a wonderful place because this conversation is a dham, and this conversation, Srimad Bhagavatam conversation, happened between Vidurji and Maitreya Muni at Haridwar. And during Ayavais Yatra, we also had a chance to go to Shuktal, where at that tree where this conversation happened between Shukdev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, Srimad Bhagavatam, that wonderful conversation happened there. And after finishing the Ayavais Yatra, we took a small group of devotees and we went to a close by, that was Kurukshetra. And Kurukshetra is also a wonderful conversation which happened between Lord Shri Krishna and Arjuna. So, the whole of our scriptures is about the conversation. So conversation, you go to the dham and you go to dham for what? Conversation, to hear about that conversation. So when we are at the Kurukshetra, we had asked one auto driver, okay, we want to visit all these places, Jyotisar, Brahma Sarovar, and there are a few other places. So he said, yes, I will take you 200 rupees. In 2 hours, I will take you to all the places. In 2 hours, I will take you to all places. So most of the traveler or the tourist who comes there, what they want to do is, in just limited time, in just 2 hours, visit all the places, sightseeing and come back. But we told, no, we want to wait there. We want to be at the Jyotisa where this Bhagavad Gita was spoken. We want to spend some time there. How much time? We said, we want to spend like 1.5 or 2 hours there. And he said, the auto driver says, there's nothing there. The museum is closed. It is in a construction and repair. There's nothing there. So that's what people in general can't understand. They just have that material outlook towards even dham. They just want to see, sightseeing dham. But actually, dham means that we are going to hear and more deeper into the conversation what happened there, right? We go to the dham to hear from the devotees. So dham is a place, is like the purpose to go to dham is to elevate our consciousness when we tune to that conversation, right? And the dham actually is like a pressure cooker. It's like a pressure cooker. In a pressure cooker, the rice cooks so early. In just 3 minutes probably, it gets cooked, right? That's how dham has such a potency that makes you advance in spiritual life so quicker. So, but we should understand how to tune to the dham by tuning into the conversation of Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. So we are talking about this conversation. So perfect conversation comes from the perfect inquiries. So I was giving a talk to a normal audience about a meaningful conversation like a classroom setup. So in that, to have a meaningful conversation, what you need is, the first thing you need is asking the right questions. Like, father asked to the son, he goes to his college, first day, and father asks the son, how was the day? And the son says, okay, good. But the father was expecting something more, but the conversation didn't kick off. So The next day also asked the same question, how was your college? How was your day? He says, okay. Then father understood, probably to start a conversation, I need to put some energy. And then he asked the other day, what was the best part of your day? And then he asked, what made you smile today? And then there was a thoughtful conversation start flowing, right? So asking the right question is the key to start a conversation, to start a meaningful conversation. So conversation is not about the gossips or meaningless chatter, but is communicating our intentions, connecting with that person, understanding the emotion of that person. And that's how we should train ourselves to be curious, to be thoughtfully curious. That's a conversation. So, asking questions. So I was once giving a device session, Discover Yourself sessions, introductory Bhagavad Gita session. I was speaking about body and soul and all logical explanation about it, scientific explanations about body. We are not body, we are spirit, soul. And after the session completed, I opened up for the questions. And one person immediately raised his hand and started saying that, I have a question. I said, yes. He asked, why do you shave your head? And somebody asked, how to eat the tulsi leaves? And then somebody asked, what to do? अगर बिल्ली रास्ता काट जाती है तो क्या करना चाहिए? After speaking of body and soul and Bhagavad Gita conversation, the best they could come up with this kind of questions, right? So we should understand to ask a meaningful questions, to have a meaningful conversation. Quality of conversation comes from the quality of inquiries. So how I put forward this is, a meaningful conversation is about connecting to somebody, communicating their intent, understanding them, connecting to that person. That actually happens from the deep of our emotions. And that's about the heart. It's about the heart, that meaningful, that mindful conversation. There's another kind of conversation which happens like a purposeful conversation where it is like you're guided on a road trip. That's like a purposeful conversation. What is our destination? And that's how you navigate your life, right? That's a purposeful conversation, right? That actually comes on what should I execute? How do I execute? How do I understand? That actually comes from it's more about the head, right? What I said is a mindful and meaningful conversation happens with the heart, and a purposeful conversation happens with the more about the head. But a perfect conversation is a symphony, the harmony between a head and heart. And that perfect conversation is Srimad Bhagavatam. How? Because it has to do with so much with the heart, with the emotion, right? The purest of emotion is love, the pure love, right? That's what the Srimad Bhagavatam talks about. And it talks about the guided way, right? It talks about our goal. The ultimate destination is Lord's lotus feet, Parampadam, where we have to go. And how can we navigate our life to that purpose, to that goal, right? Srimad Bhagavatam speaks about that. So it is a symphony, it's a harmony of head and heart. It's a harmony of emotion, the highest emotion and the highest destination. So that is the Srimad Bhagavatam. That's a conversation. So this perfect conversation is perfect, and it can lead us to the perfection. So the perfection is when we have the Lord Shri Krishna's mercy. So it's like electricity. Electricity comes from the generator. That electricity which is manifested by generator, it doesn't come automatically everywhere. It cannot manifest automatically everywhere. It comes to this room through some electrical connection, through wires, right? Same way, the Supreme Lord is that generator of mercy. And that generator never stops. There is no breakage. There is no breakdown. That generator of mercy is always going on. But that mercy is not available everywhere. That cannot manifest everywhere. If that has to be manifested in this material world, it has to come through, like that electricity, if it has to come through, from generator to here, it comes through the wire. And that mercy, it has to come through the devotees, advanced devotees, or in general devotees also. So that wire is by which the mercy comes, right? But why devotees? Because Lord Shri Krishna chooses, they are the propagator of my mercy. Lord Shri Krishna himself chooses them, right? Because the wire, so not any wire can take the electricity, but a good conductor can pass, isn't it? Like a copper wire. Same way, Lord Shri Krishna chooses the devotee as a via media because they act favorably for the Lord's mission. And that's why this mercy comes through. So, any other wire, it can probably offer a lot of resistance and the electricity cannot pass through. But the copper wire can pass through. Better than copper wire is probably a silver or a golden, I don't know, platinum also, I'm not sure. But the better and better, more refinement is there, the more quicker and the more better flow of electricity is there. That's how the more advanced is a devotee, it can reach out more. It can reach out the Lord's mercy and spread the Lord's mercy so much. So that's how Srila Prabhupada, he took the Bhagavad Dharma and spread all over the world. So, this Bhagavad, this conversation, when it comes, when somebody hears that conversation from such a devotees, what happens to them? The shloka says, Shrimata Shraddhaya Nityam, Granatascha Svacheshritam, Kalena Nati Dirghena, Bhagavan Vishate Ridhi. So it says, the person who hears a Srimad Bhagavatam are always taking this matter very seriously and will have personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna manifest in their heart, na ati dirghena, in a very short time. But when they hear that conversation of Srimad Bhagavatam, that perfect conversation of Srimad Bhagavatam, when they hear, then the Lord Shri Krishna will manifest into their heart. Parasparanu kathanam pavanam bhagavad yasha mithoratir mitastushtir nivrittir mitha atmana. So it says, Parasparanu kathanam. If one starts speaking to each other about what? There are so many gossip topics, but here it says Bhagavat Yasha. When we talk about the glories of the Lord, when we talk about the Leelas of the Supreme Lord, then what happened? Mithorati, that means a mutual friendship develops amongst the devotees. There is automatically cooperation just by sitting in Srimad Bhagavatam class. Right? There is automatically cooperation. And Mithatushti, there is a sense of satisfaction which comes. Right? And Nivrittar Mitha, that means it removes all the inner anarthas are removed altogether. And Pavanam, it is most purifying. It is most purifying to glorify the Lord, to hear the topics about the Lord, which is quoted in Srimad Bhagavatam. So conversation here happens between a speaker and audience. So which is more important? The conversation cannot take place if there is no hearer. So audience is very much important, right? The Shota is more important because that gives rise to the inspiration to the Katha. What kind of inquiries he puts, right? That's how the Katha, there will be inspiration for the speaker also to speak, right? So Vidurji is starting, in the next verses, he talks wonderfully about the conversation. He inquires. This perfect conversation can actually awaken the love which is so dormant in our heart. Like, when we hear this Srimad Bhagavatam, then our goal will achieve that goal of the love of Godhead. That love of Godhead will be revived. It's like a firewood. The fire is already inside that wood. As one rubs that wood, that fire gets invoked. So, the hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, that fire, that love of Godhead will be invoked. And we see in the life of Yamunacharya, when he was, when he just hear and could recollect some verses from Bhagavad Gita, he actually uncovered all his dementia. Right? We see, like an ice cube is not a natural state of water. Right? When it is kept outside of its condition of a refrigerator, soon it melts down and comes to its natural state of water. Same way, when we bring our consciousness away from that condition and hear Srimad Bhagavatam, then what happens? It melts to our natural position. That natural position is to love God. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prems Sadhya Kabunai Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Karaye Uday. Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Karaye Uday. Hearing about the topics of Lord, right, will awaken that natural love, right? So, the verse talks about Vidurji is a Achyuta Bhava Siddha. That means who is very advanced, who is already liberated devotee. So, the question may be, why do the advanced devotee also have to put the inquiries? Why do the advanced devotee also have to hear from some other devotee? So, there in Chaitanya Charitamrita, the verse comes, it says, Ihamali seche nitya shravanadi jala. It says, so everybody has to cultivate that bhakti lata. As long as we are in this material world, the gardener has to regularly sprinkle that creeper, that bhakti lata, with the water. And that what the water is? That water is Ihamali seche nitya shravanadi jala. Hearing and chanting, that is the water. Water cannot be stopped. Water has to be continuously given to the creeper, right? One cannot think that, okay, I have been hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, I have been chanting for so long, now I have become a mature devotee, I don't need this. The day we stop watering the bhakti lata or any creeper, it will die, right? And that's why the continuous watering is required. So, Bhagavad Gita, Lord Shri Krishna mentions in a Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita, it says, Macchitta madagata prana bodhayanta parasparam katayantascha mam nitya tushyanti cha ramanti cha. So, Macchitta, thinking of me, madgata prana, the whole life is dedicated to me, Lord Shri Krishna is saying. Bodhayanta parasparam, illuminating this conversation with each other, kathayantam cha mam nitya, continuously chanting his leelas, remembering him, then one can have a tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Tushyanti, satisfaction, and ramanti is more ahead on the satisfaction. You will get a bliss, transcendental bliss, ramanti. So, the point is bodhayanta parasparam. The pure devotee also cannot know what the mercy or cannot have the complete knowledge of Krishna, right? And that's why when they long for each other's association to converse and hear more about the topics about Lord Shri Krishna. They want to hear the perspectives from the other devotees, and that can bring them more and more closer to each other and more closer to that satisfaction and that transcendental bliss, right? So the critical thing about here is the association of devotees and conversing about the topics of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. That has an extraordinary fulfillment and satisfaction. Baldev Vidyabhushan Pad, he mentions for this Bhagavad Gita verse, he says, Madgata Prana means Krishna. So Krishna is a life and soul for these devotees. It's like a fish. It cannot remain out of the water, right? So that's how devotees, they cannot remain without the topics about Lord Shri Krishna. And that's why they always converse. Like for the fish, the water is life. For the devotees, this is a nourishment. Krishna Katha is a nourishment. And that's how they get nourished and they always want to discuss. So, Lord himself says, Naham tishtante vaikunte yoginam hrudeshu na va tatra trattarishtaminada yatra gayanti madbhakta. I'm not there in Vaikuntha. I'm not even there the heart of the yogis, but where I am, where this conversation is taking place, there I am, right? So Srimad Bhagavatam is full of narrations of Lord Shri Krishna and his wonderful devotees, the relationship between them, right? And that's why devotees love to converse about it, right? Devotees love, and Bhagavatam talks about Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam, which is very dear to Vaishnavas, and that's why they always conversed. The realized souls take continuous pleasures in discussing about the Srimad Bhagavatam, in hearing about Srimad Bhagavatam, right? We see, Rukmini was very much have a love for Lord Shri Krishna, right? And she chooses Lord Shri Krishna as a suitable master. He is the only suitable master. He is a suitable Purusha, right? Right. He is the enjoyer. Purusha means enjoyer. What happens is, when we see some movie, we see some hero is enjoying in a movie, our attachment to this material world increases, and that increases our material fever. We go for the longing for those material things. But when we see Lord Shri Krishna is enjoying in his wonderful pastimes, actually that decreases our material fever. And that's why he is the greatest of enjoyer. He should be accepted as a Purusha. He should be accepted as an enjoyer. He should be our suitable master. What Rukmini has chosen. Rukmini chose Lord Shri Krishna as a Pati. She started loving to Lord Shri Krishna. But whereas Shishupal had an envy for Krishna. So Rukmini's attraction for Krishna was developed through hearing. Shrutva gunan bhuvana sundara Shrutva gunan bhuvana sundar shunvatam te nirvishya karna vivarer harato angatapam. Harato angatapam. So hearing about Krishna actually decreases. Harato angatapam. This material fever is decreases. And when you hear about a materialist hero, it only agitates us. And that's why Rukmini chose, she made a choice to hear from those great Brahmanas, to the great sages, favorably about Lord Shri Krishna. And she chose not to hear from envious person like a Shishupal. Right? So hearing is very critical. Prithu Maharaj, he says, I'm not looking for the liberation. Even in the worst of my difficulties, I don't want to get liberated. Why? Because in liberation, there is no nectar of your lotus feet. Now one may inquire, what is that nectar of lotus feet? That nectar arises, actually, what kind of nectar? That nectar arises from the heart of the devotees. Because the devotee, in the heart of devotees, Lord is always staying. Right? How to access that? To access that nectar is, it actually emanates from those pure devotees when they speak about that Krishna Katha. When they converse and they speak about Krishna Katha, then we can actually experience that nectar. So Prithu Maharaj is saying, the liberation I don't want to go because there is that Brahman realization I don't want to go because there is no nectar of Krishna Katha. There is no conversation with the devotees. So, transformation can happen if we are serious about this conversation, right? This can act as a medicine to cure our disease. Nivritti tarshe upagiyamanat bhav aushada shrotra manobhiramat. These are sweet medicine, right? Sweet medicine. So, nivritti tarshe it keeps us out of our material desires. We are into a chronic disease. That chronic disease is a bhavarog. What is the medicine? That's a Krishna Katha. And who is a doctor? Is like a devotees from whom we hear, right? To whom we inquire and they converse about Krishna Katha. So Srimad Bhagavatam is like that sweet medicine. Now sweet medicine is sometimes is like an oxymoron. Sweet and medicine. How can that be possible, right? I remember in my childhood, it was a very difficult time for my parents to give medicine to me. So my mother used to call an aunt whom I used to always fearful of. And that aunt used to come when there was a time to give me medicine. And she used to sit in front of me. And she used to administer me that medicine. And I used to take that tablet. Because that was so bitter, I used to, immediately I took the tablet in my mouth, I used to take the water, sip of water, a glass, and without somebody's notice, I had to spit back that medicine into that glass and keep that glass aside. Because the medicine was so bitter, right? But the medicine of Srimad Bhagavatam is not bitter. It's such a sweet. Bhava Aushadat Manobhiramat is actually so pleasurable. This medicine is so pleasurable. So, when somebody goes to the hospital, he doesn't go to the hospital for just sightseeing. He doesn't go to the hospital just to check how wonderful furniture is, how wonderful is the receptionist is, how are the interiors. He doesn't go for that. He goes to the hospital and doesn't forget to meet the doctor, right? The same way, when somebody goes to Haridwar or Rishikesh for Dham, right, they go to hear about, to tune into that conversation and not for the bungee jumping and rafting, right? So, we go there to hear about these topics, right? So, hearing is a very most important, and that too in a dham, what Vidurji is into the dham of Haridwar, where Maitreya Muni is staying. So, Bhagavatam describes Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani, and Prabhupada says, the holy places all over the earth are meant for purifying the polluted consciousness of a human being by an atmosphere surcharged with the presence of Lord's unalloyed devotees. So devotees actually surcharge that place, right? So the holy place is made holy by the association of the devotees there, right? And to such an association of devotees, we should inquire about the topics. Prabhupada writes into some other purport, he says, the more we hear from the realized source, the more we make an advancement in a devotional life. And the more we make an advancement in devotional life, more the material fever goes down and the more the attraction for Lord Shri Krishna is developed. The more attachment to the Lord Shri Krishna is developed, and that is the goal of our life, to get attracted to Lord Shri Krishna, right? So, when Ganga, Mother Ganga is coming, Bhagirath requested Mother Ganga to come down, descend down. Mother Ganga had a fear that when so many people, the materialistic people, they will take a bath, they will deposit so many of their sinful reaction into my waters, into me, and that accumulated sins, what will I do with that? Then Bhagirath says, actually do not worry, because when the pure devotees, they take bath in your waters, that sinful reaction accumulated by so many other people will certainly be counteracted. For such a devotees, always keep in their core of their heart Lord Shri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? Who can vanquish all the sinful reactions. And that pure devotees, when they converse, they speak about that nectarian Krishna Katha. And we should get tuned to this nectarian Krishna Katha. So just to summarize, what we discussed is how the Srimad Bhagavatam is a nested conversation. And we discussed about the meaningful conversation to the purposeful conversation. The best is a perfect conversation, which is a harmony of pure love and Parampadam, the highest destination. That's the Srimad Bhagavatam. So, mercy of Krishna comes through these pure devotees and brings us to the perfection of the human form of life. It awakens our love for Lord Shri Krishna And this perfect conversation acts like a sweet medicine. Srimad Bhagavatam acts like that sweet medicines. And the advanced devotees, like Achyuta Bhava Siddha, they also like to hear and they also like to converse, right? They also take so great pleasure in conversing about Lord Shri Krishna. And that will bring us to such a transformation and we'll get attraction for Krishna. So a perfect conversation, so this topic onwards is a perfect conversation between the perfected soul, Vidurji and Maitreya, and which can bring us perfection of a human form of life. So thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.